It's happening. Welcome,
Yeah.
welcome to
Hey.
the first episode and the first 2020 episode of Talk2Late.
Hi, boys.
Hi
Hi,
everyone.
hi. This is Talk2Late. My name is Game2Late, and I'm joined by the young and hopeful up-and-coming Twitch streamer HeadacheMik,
Hi, guys. My name is Mick. Just call me Mick.
and the old, not so up-and-coming, no, but slightly old, well-aged and matured, and hardcore gamer and game expert Prosil.
Hi guys, I'm Prosil.
Welcome. These are
I'm not old though.
yeah. So no, he's not actually, but he is an hardcore gamer. I vouch for that.
Ding.
He is.
There you go. These are my two guests, and you will see them as always in a podcast show in which every 2 weeks we look at games from 2 years ago, and we look at games industry stories from 2 years ago, and we analyze them in insight, and we try to come up with some sort of lessons from it, and we also share our opinions on the past 2 years in gaming. And what we're gonna do today, before we start, we're just gonna have a little shout out for us and have a little catch up chat because we didn't speak since our Christmas special episode from last December. How are you guys?
Nice. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year and Happy 2020. I hope it's a good one for
Yeah.
everyone.
That's going okay.
How are you, Parzu?
I'm good. New year, new projects. I haven't played much so far.
You've been
yeah.
spending your Christmas holidays with your Switch, have you?
Yes. Which time I played Super Mario. Uh, it's very long game. Like if you want to complete the whole, you need to collect all the moons. If you need to complete them all and collect them all, I think it's gonna take ages because it's about 1,000 moons.
You like the game?
I'm torn. I would say I like the game. I would say it's not as good as Super Mario 64, which means
I mean, what is good as 64?
that's the problem. Like if you read
Yeah.
reviews, the expectation you have are super high, and I had super high expectation. Whereas I think soundtrack wise, and there are a couple of things that the game doesn't match up with Super Mario 64 because the game is thought to be a portable game. So you need to play, get the moon, and then move to the other moon. So if you have 10 minutes to play, you can play 10 minutes. If you have half an hour, you can play half an hour just to get the stars or whatever you want to get. Whereas Mario 64, there is no way you can play a level and stay on it 10 minutes. You need to play.
It's a very hardcore game, yes.
Yeah. So to me, I don't agree with all the reviews and the 100 and super high scores that the game received. I think it's a very good game. I really enjoyed playing it, but it's not as good as 64.
Cool. Mick, how you doing? And I saw you started playing Sekiro.
Yeah, I finally took the courage and started playing Sekiro with my Twitch stream and chat. It is as scary as as I thought, but it's doable somehow. It's manageable. I'm very happy though. Very happy. What are you playing? Gameplay?
You know, guys, I
No.
finally found the time to get started with Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Before starting this, I played a little background, fresh the memories. I had a game-to-late channel about playing games 2 years after, and that was the plan. But then life happened. And five at all. I'm leaving my honeymoon game. It's good. I'm loving it so far. Not much into it yet. I am at 7, so I suppose the early stage of the game because every time I do a mission, it unlocks game loop. For example, certain kind of units, different medical combat
Yeah.
unit. Every time I do anything, something that follows up and opens up a new gameplay. Take my choices and have a little playtime with, and there's a lot. It helps that I have played Peace Walker before, but if I had not played Peace Walker, I think it would be a bit overwhelming for anyone who has not played that game before, because there's so many things, and you come in expecting a Metal Gear, but it's not a Metal Gear, not a Metal Gear game. But
I don't want to say
anyway,
yet.
I'm still at the very beginning. I'm still at the very beginning. It has more of a Far Cry vibe than a Metal Gear
We
Solid
can-
vibe, and I think that well, we're gonna have the time to talk about Metal Gear Solid
We're
5.
gonna have a full episode on that one of these days, I guess.
It's happening.
Once you complete
Right.
it.
But January really didn't see a lot of action. The main titles in this month have been, well, a couple of them primarily, and as it always happened, they have arrived towards the end of the month. One was Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which was a pretty big deal. I mean, I have played the game. It's a really fun fighter, and I've had a good time with it. You guys play Dragon Ball Fighter?
No, like the last Dragon Ball video game I played was back in PS2, so it's been a while since.
And guess what? What a coincidence! Exactly these days, there is a new Dragon Ball game. So they
Yep.
came out pretty time. Gonna come out next
Yep.
well, and it's the new Dragon Ball.
It's actually already out.
Is it out already? Good.
Yeah, a friend of mine took it, and I've seen some stuff, and I want that.
It
I
looks
wanna
good
play that.
because it's not like a fighting game. It's more like an RPG kind of open world.
Yeah.
The other game was
Yeah.
Like the old one on Super NES.
Oh yeah, too. Even PS2 had like a similar thing.
Oh.
Yeah, the one they released on Super NES, it was the Dragon Ball Z, the Freezer saga, and it was amazing. I think it's still available.
I think I know what
Only
you're talking about.
Japanese. It's only in Japanese, but they retranslated it when the emulation came in, so you can find it on the emulator. It's pretty good.
Oh.
It's one of the best game I played on Super NES.
I think that the last Dragon Ball game I played was on Nintendo DS, and it was Dragon Ball's Origins, which kind of played out the story of the manga and the anime, which was nice. But then at some point I stopped because like I already know this. Anyway,
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Fighter was pretty much the bigger deal of January, and it did. I mean, I talked to people who were playing this enthusiastically for months, and
Yeah.
people have been praising the story mode. There is this article from Chicago that talks about it. There is another article from Your Gamer that puts it as a fighting game for everyone. That's true in my experience because it's not like you don't have a lot of particularly challenging now combinations. I have a lot of button combos that you pull off the screen. It's actually pretty straightforward. You touch a button and it opens like this massive cutscene, like watching an anime, right? And it's pretty. It's an eye candy. The whole thing is actually. There has been some talks about the lobby system not being amazing for there, but whatever.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, well, just deal with it. I don't have much to add about it. As I was saying, the other games around this period of the year, January 20. There's one I want to talk about, which was The Impatient. Was a game from Supermassive Games. Supermassive Games is famous for doing story-driven stories like I can't remember the titles right now, but this is interesting because it's one of the VR titles the PlayStation was really pushing for in terms of VR, and I just wanted to remind everybody how pumped up people were about VR and virtual reality in general. Around those days, there were also articles like this: "The VR will soon have its Commodore 64 moment." Everybody was swearing by VR. Well, how do you guys feel about VR now? Do you care?
No.
But you do remember? Let's not hide ourselves. You do remember there was quite a bit of hype about VR in general, and I think that has gone
yes,
down.
but-
Like you read this Statesman now, and it's funny.
I was never really hyped because I had the same amount of hype everyone had back in the Kinect era of 360.
You were a Kinect
And-
enthusiast.
Yeah, and that betrayed me and it failed me, and from that point on, I was completely out of any weird gimmick. Even like the Wii Move thingy, those things I was really was never really a fan of. I love the Wii. I played a lot of Wii, But I was never saying like, oh, this is the future. Like the future, we will move to play video games. I was never behind this train after Kinect. Sorry, Microsoft.
No, that's fine. I mean, we are
It's your fault.
we are almost close to a new generation of consoles, and literally nobody is saying, "Oh my God, I cannot wait for VR on the next
Sweat.
generation of VR." It's like, oh, well, nobody cares, right?
I mean, I think it's going to be the future that the screen will be here instead of there. Probably, but I don't know. Not much more than that.
Anyway, this is what was going on, and Impatience was one of the titles that PlayStation put out, trying to sell their PlayStation VR headset, which, to be fair, have managed to sell quite a bit of those parts. I'm gonna look at that some time.
I have my remarks on the VR because I tried it recently. I tried the latest version of the Oculus from a friend in Sardinia, and I have to say it's quite good. So I tried both VR, let's say the Microsoft version of the Oculus, the one that you can buy and pay quite a lot, and the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4 really feels like it's not really VR, whereas the Oculus and the things I tried, they can be quite impressive. The problem is that the gameplay, like for instance, I tried the Batman game and it's quite good. The moment you go into the Batcavern and the moment you wear Batman mask and Batman suit is really cool. But then they need to add some things like the controls and stuff, and it's not for everybody.
It needs to be a proper game, I believe, before.
Because I played Doom like a proper game, and when you play Doom with VR, you easily may suffer motion sickness, and it's something that I never felt. But playing VR, like if you play Doom for an hour, moving the controls, it really feels like, wow, why am I moving where my legs are standing?
Yeah.
So I believe the Half-Life will change.
That's
something.
what I was. Probably in 2 years from now, we're going to talk about the day that VR changed with Alex.
That's interesting.
Who knows?
But anyway, kudos to PlayStation for their publishing effort, which allowed them to sell 5 million units, which is a lot.
That's a lot.
That's just a lot.
Yeah,
it's a pretty fair number
money.
up until last December. So.
And it's not cheap. It's like what?
Not cheap. It's not.
300.
Wouldn't know what the latest price is, but it came out at $400.
Yeah, not cheap.
So it wasn't a cheap headset, and it managed to sell about 1 million in the first 6 months. So we are pretty much selling another console next to the console. Pretty. Anyway.
Really good, because the offers they made were all combined with games and things like that. So
they did 2 billion. That's a lot of money.
Too much.
But most of the people that have it don't really use it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's probably what's going on now.
They don't.
Moment of disenfranchisement. Yeah, I've got it, and
they look at it and they're like, "Oh, that's fancy."
Nice,
sure.
Nice. I have it. All right. Okay, and the other game I wanted to mention was Monster Hunter World, which ended up being a massive release. I think that Michele is the one who played a bit of Monster Hunter for us. Did you in the past?
Yes, I did. I played a lot of it. Maybe I can even tell you the hours of it. I loved it. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the saga since PSP. I didn't have the PS2, the PS2 version when it came out because I was poor and I was a kid, honestly. But I played all the saga on PSP with a bunch of friends. I have the best memories of that game playing locally or emulating a LAN to play online. So many things. I learned so many things, met so many people. And this PC game that came out, it's probably the culmination of all the things Capcom has learned throughout all these years. So it improves on every aspect. It gives you every challenge possible. It's tough, it's hard, it's fun, it's crazy, and it's online, and you can play it easily with people. And I had a blast. It's probably the ultimate Monster Hunter, even though there's a lot of Monster Hunter that are called Monster Hunter Ultimate. This one is the real Monster Hunter.
All right.
And I don't know how many hours I played, but a lot.
Okay, But are you're talking about Monster Hunter Ultimate or Monster Hunter World?
No, I'm talking about Monster Hunter World. Is
Okay.
the ultimate
Okay.
Monster Hunter for me.
Okay.
And I
Awesome.
played 76 hours. That's not a lot. It felt more.
All right. You know, one of the things that actually kept me from ever playing Monster Hunter was the fact that everybody seemed to kind of disappear into the game and abandon their life.
Yeah.
Like it's really
It's very grindy.
It's grindy. It's like pure grind in a game. So
yeah, this one though I think makes an exception because very quickly, just for like if you are new to this, you don't need to grind as much as you used to do on the previous games. It seems like it's more on improvement of moveset and I mean a better weapon does a lot more damage, but if you're good with your old weapon, you can still have a lot of fun. And if you are like stuck on a very difficult monster, you don't need to farm a bunch of stuff for it. You can request help online, so that probably balances out the grindiness of it. It seems like, at least that's what I felt while playing it.
all right. Well, guys,
I never grinded.
this kind of wraps up our first segment, and we're looking forward to a very exciting future because in the next episode we're gonna cover February, and there's stuff like Dragon Quest Builder and remake of Shadow of the Colossus. So that's gonna be interesting. Right, there is one big news that came out last year around the 17th of January, and I'm talking about Nintendo announcing Nintendo Labo. Now, what an awesome little experiment this was. You think it's nothing, but I loved it. The first time I've seen the trailer, I was like, what is this? How did they come up with this? Because it's basically a piece of paper. It's just a piece of cardboard, a wheel to control like a bike or control a car.
Yeah. Now the next question is this the future of gaming?
Yes.
No.
No, this is the future of people spending their money and Nintendo raking in incredible profit margins because they literally sell you a piece of cardboard and a little software, fairly, decent, polished Nintendo software.
How much is it now?
I mean, when it came out, it was nearing 60, 70 euros, 60, 70 pounds. It was...
it's $30 now.
There you go. I think that's a more fair pricing. But still, I have to say I was really impressed with Nintendo trying to do speak. And one can always blame Nintendo for doing underpowered consoles, but they also come up with things that people end up loving. This one, when I saw it, I thought everybody was gonna get one. It wasn't quite as successful. What did you guys think? Did you guys take notice of this? I was really pumped, even though I don't own a Nintendo Switch. But I thought it was so clever from a business perspective.
Yeah, same.
Just...
What about you, Prosil?
I think it's clever, but for serious gamer, this is one step again in the wrong direction for Nintendo. I mean, because if someone like me looks at something like that, I say, okay, it's still like you never bring a product for gamers, so you're never gonna get. So it's difficult because I played, I bought a Switch just to play 2 games, and I'm playing them, and I'm happy I'm playing them. But then it's not a console that maybe it's when they say Nintendo is not a console for serious gamers, that's the reality now because it's still a step in that direction.
Well,
it won the Italian Video Game Award for Best Family Game. I'm just saying.
Really? But that's the thing. I mean, it is a family product. Nintendo shows that they know their audience, and their audience is parents more than gamers. Parents and share of their market, parents, and this was parents' heaven. It allowed some parents kind of something manual with the kids. And I think it was so clever of Nintendo from a business perspective to come up with this. And everybody was like, raving on the internet. Most video game companies, VR is the future of video games, and Nintendo, cardboard. There is this nice article from Kotaku, just featuring all these reactions. from around the world, and I'm gonna put the link of all these articles in the descriptions. And if I don't do so, please leave a comment in the description. Reach out to Game2Late on Twitter. I'll be providing these links if you need them, or you can look them up. Use the Google machine, guys. Come on. Sorry, you were saying, guys?
No, I said that maybe I was a bit harsh before, but the idea itself is amazing. Don't get me wrong. The idea itself is amazing, but
yeah, but you are a hardcore gamer, so I mean, we understand your point of view, and it makes sense, you know.
Yeah, no. I do agree. My admiration for something like Nintendo Labo was purely the fact that you sit down in front of your monitor, you think there is a Nintendo Direct, I wonder what's that, and then they come out with this, and you're like, how the, what, how the, and that kind of always surprises me. They're obviously some funny gifts. Like this
I think
one.
if we look at what Nintendo did with the latest Nintendo Direct, it was much better than whatever Sony did,
Yeah,
and whatever Sony is doing at the moment. Honestly,
yeah. Labo is way better than whatever is happening right now with the new logo of PS5.
Yeah,
It's way better. Labo is way better.
it's way better, I
Yeah.
believe. And yeah,
Yep.
so
Anyway, there was another main big bombshell around these days from 2 years ago, and it was about Microsoft Game Pass and some little change announcement regarding Microsoft Game Pass. One, around the 20th of January, was that all Microsoft Studios third-party exclusive will launch day one directly in Game Pass. So if you acquire a Game Pass subscription, you get all this Microsoft Studio exclusive directly on Game One. There are a couple of nice articles about this, and obviously at the time it was only £8 a month. Now more recently I think it is £10 a month. It went up, but obviously there's a lot more games these days. And the other announcement was that the Microsoft Studios games that arrive on day one on Game Pass, they will not cycle out of the Game Pass, so they will stay on, and they will contribute, keep building the library of games. Now I don't own a gaming PC. I don't own an Xbox operation, and but we are lucky to have the expert HeadacheMik to tell us what he thinks about Game Pass and whether he tried it.
Yes. I mean, Game Pass for me, and I think you all can agree, it's the moment in which Microsoft and a lot of other companies realize, well, Netflix is doing a lot of money with this monthly stuff. Why don't we do the same? And for Microsoft,
We're Microsoft.
it seems to
We
be
can
working.
do it.
Yeah, I mean, Sony is doing it.
In a way,
Sony-
with PlayStation Now, which is streaming though.
Yeah, but it's going good, I believe.
People are getting it, which
I know a lot of people that are getting it. Yes, a lot of my friends are getting
Really?
it. They're not buying games, but once in a while they get that free game that comes out and they want it, or they just want to collect it. And it functions, I believe. I tried it. I don't know on Xbox, but I tried it on my PC because this service came out around when Sea of Thieves happened, and I was very excited about Sea of Thieves. I didn't buy Sea of Thieves because I had a free month of a Game Pass. What is it called? Microsoft Game Pass, right?
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I had a free month, and basically they gave me the game for free, which was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then I unsubscribed, and I never did it again because I don't know, because I like to buy my own games, I guess. Sea of Thieves was they put me in jail every time I got into a new game, so
But anyway,
I
I think that if you look at 2 years ago, Microsoft, in terms of reputation, in terms of market position, it wasn't exactly in a winning position anymore. Even Nintendo Switch, in less than a year, had probably put themselves so strongly on the market. Quotes from this article that I forgot. But
it's
anyway.
smart, right?
It was a smart
It's
thing, but it ended up being a turning point for Nintendo, I think. And now for Microsoft. And I think that Microsoft is now approaching the new generation in a very strong marketing position. They have the Game Pass that goes to them. people know that they can just spend £10 a month and they have like more than 100 games. They know that whenever they will resubscribe again, they will have those games and maybe more, or maybe some others, but they will have the latest game, not old stuff. And if you look at PlayStation, you can have PlayStation now, but you're streaming it. Slightly have a different feeling for some.
Yeah. And besides,
Yeah.
it's old games too, right?
On PlayStation now is fairly old, whereas Game Pass has got stuff like the latest football games, like it has the latest Pro Evo or FIFA or both. It has the biggest titles like the GTA 5, which obviously most people, actually, realistically, most people buy console play GTA, like half of players.
A lot of kids.
Well, I would say depends, because like if you look at Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC, that's completely behind what console was. If you look at the 360, the Xbox One and the PC version, the Xbox One is much better, I believe. But leaving that aside, which is another topic, I would say that Microsoft made a very right step. They are changing from unfriendly user to a user company. Like they're preparing the ground to create to the new generation console war, providing a much better service. So what Sony is not doing is not providing a service. So you pay PlayStation Plus just because you need to go online, and they increase the price, they reduce the service. Clearly they don't want to support gamers the way Microsoft is doing, which might lead to the final outcome and as a positive for Microsoft and not for Sony. Because myself as well, I'm thinking about buying an Xbox, so rather than a PlayStation. And yeah, if they keep that way, that's the way it's gonna be.
Buy PC.
Too big. I like the new Xbox, honestly.
The Xbox, I mean, the latest console that they did, the X1, is a nice piece of engineering kit, and it's super powerful, of course. And they have a very strong marketing for the new console. They already announced it, they already shown it at the Video Game Awards, and the console looks pretty. This kind of vertical block, like the MacBook Pro used to be vertical. They're going very strongly into the next generation. But I wanted to highlight this article and how it sums it up. With Game Pass, this isn't Xbox giving up. This is just the company doing games. That's so successfully create a strong platform on which to deliver high quality software. I think like they've nailed it in the last 2 years. Microsoft fidelizing users and creating the platform, which is gonna be the Trojan horse for the next generation of.
I hope for them.
Yeah, I hope they do a strong. I want competition. I want competition
Why
in
not?
space.
Yeah, that's good.
So that kind of wraps it up. There were other little news. There were some news like former PlayStation and Xbox chief Phil Harrison joins Google. They didn't know what it was about, but yeah, at the time, he was gonna work on a new business
Stadia?
unit, and now we know, yes, Stadia.
Really?
And that was happening 2 years ago, not a long time ago. We will year brings for well.
It was bold
Yeah,
too.
it was a bold move.
That's cool.
And the person you mean? I thought you were talking about the movie. Anyway, we're close to wrapping it up. There are a couple of articles that I found from 2 years ago. One is one of them is Facebook saying that we're going all in with esports. A bit like PlayStation VR or VR in general. 2 years ago there was the big buzzword of esports, and Facebook was swearing by it, putting money left and right. But I think that whatever they were doing probably didn't work, right?
Doesn't look like it did. It's YouTube, Facebook gaming / video. Yeah, that's going big, but not really esports.
Yeah, so there you go. This kind of fell flat, and it's nice to look back and look at all these statements, these bold statements. Two quick articles that I want to highlight for you guys to go back and enjoy. One of them is an homage to Theme Hospital. It was a game by Balfrog. It was a sort of a simulator of hospital running, and it was a bit like theme park, but it was theme hospital, and it was incredibly comedic, incredibly fun. Uh, it was a bit of a Sim City based on a hospital, but ironical, a parody. And there were a couple of articles around this time as well that talked about piracy. One regards the Switch. Less than a year from the release date, it was already pretty close to hacked, and the other one was PlayStation 4 hacked with pirated software running. I wanted to mention this to kind of foreshadow what we're gonna talk about in the next episode. We're gonna obviously meet again in 2 weeks. We're gonna talk about the games and the game stories that have happened in those 2 weeks 2 years ago. And I'm gonna ask you guys to talk about piracy in our wild days. We're gonna talk about the fact that we are Italians, which we never mentioned, but the three of us are Italians indeed. And we're gonna talk about growing up in the rampant age of piracy and your opinions in the next episode. And I invite you both to please give your coordinates where people can find you.
Can we blur our faces?
I don't know
at
if
least?
we can blur faces. We're gonna have to be responsible for what we say. Sorry.
There's no blur. Shit.
So,
Alright.
Mick, where can people find you?
Oh yeah, they can find me at twitch.tv/HeadacheMik, all
Yeah.
one word. I'm currently playing Sekiro inside, and we're trying to play more mainstream titles for 2020, because I've been told that I play very old stuff, so I'm trying to go fresher and newer. And then we cook
And you do
and
cooking
eat
streams
stuff.
as well. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Cool.
We eat stuff.
Prosil, how about you?
There, you can find me at twitch.tv/Prosil. You play too much all together. This year I'm gonna stream as usual hardcore games. Next game I need to think about probably doing a marathon or Resident Evil on the weekend, Resident Evil 2 remake or Uncharted collection, all three of them in one
I think
go.
it's about time you actually get going with that Resident Evil 2 remake. I wanna check you out if you're live this week. That's good.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I don't know because I have a bunch of games I played. I never played. Like for instance, Resident Evil 7. I never played it, and I would like to play. So I need to decide what to do.
7, then 2. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
We could delve
Why?
into this reason by if you can give us the short version of why.
Because 7 it's okay, but it's still a very new wave formula, new age Resident Evil formula. And then I think it's good to finish that and then close it, possibly forever, because who knows what's gonna happen with Resident Evil 8, and open up with the fresh old format of Resident Evil 2, in my opinion.
All right.
Maybe it's just nostalgia. Maybe, who knows?
Lately I've watched YouTube series on all Resident Evil story, and I realized how complex is the whole.
It is.
Yeah, the whole thing, like from 1 to 6, and they are really connected. Whereas I thought like they were a bunch of bullshit. I think
Yeah, they
all.
found a lot of good connection. Some are better than others, but yeah.
Yeah. So to me, like I realized that I don't know the story of Resident Evil. Like I thought I knew, but I don't know it. So
It's fine as long as it's zombie runaway should survive.
I don't know, because for Resident Evil games, I'm the kind of gamers that reads all the books, that finds all
Me
the
too,
newspaper.
Me too.
Whereas for many games, I don't do this. But for Resident Evil, usually I play them all this
I
way.
do
Yeah.
Like,
I
really
do the
play them.
reading material in Resident Evil. I find them to be actually a big key of the enjoyment of the story, because
Yes.
usually you have this
Yes.
crazy
Yeah.
gripping, like usually like the last will of somebody. You find all these notes
Yeah.
that are actually people
Yeah.
on the brink of total desperation and last dying moment, and you find
Yeah.
all these things that are
It's
always very
weird.
strong, and yeah.
I like
It's
that.
weird because this is kind of a thing that we all three have, and it's not something everyone would do on a game. So
no.
yeah,
I like that, but I don't care how, like, for example, 2 and 3 are connected with, let's say, 5. I like to know how 1, 2, and 3 are connected, but then, I know that they made a lot of stretch to connect Raccoon City with whatever happened years
afterwards.
I'm
yeah.
fine with it. I don't judge it, but I'm not really interested in it.
All right, guys, it
So
is
like-
time
like-
for us to
like me.
wrap it up on the first episode of Talk2Late, the first episode of 2020. We're gonna see each other again in a couple of weeks to do it all over again and even better. Let me invite you to follow us on twitch.tv game2late and on the Facebook page of game2late. We're also on Twitter, and let's not forget that this show is also available in podcast form on Apple Podcast and Spotify. And with that, I thank you all for your time. I thank my 2 amazing guests.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And you
Gameblade.
guys have a good time, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye
Bye bye bye.